is the Louie Tee Network.
And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie Tee. Welcome to NFC AFC Championship Weekend in the National Football League. Our final doubleheader of this season, as only one game remains now. Super Bowl 51 will be upon us in 2 weeks from tonight, February the 5th. We know the participants. We know the locale. Now it's all about crowning an NFL champion. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. What a disappointing end to the playoffs. It was honestly a dud of a playoffs thus far. And, I've been running from this topic because, a lot of you have already mentioned, man, these games have been terrible. And I'm like, they haven't been that bad. You try to put I'm a positive guy. I'm a glass half full guy. I'm an optimist. So try to put a positive spin on things, but this playoffs has been garbage. Blowout after blowout, non-competitive game after non-competitive game. We had basically one good day of football in the playoffs this season, or this year. And that was the Sunday in the divisional round. Packers, Cowboys, Steelers, Chiefs. Other than that, every contest just about has been an ass whooping, or at least non-competitive to the point where you weren't on the edge of your seat and the winner of the game was not in question basically all fourth quarter. And so you didn't expect that in the championship weekend, though. You didn't expect that on Sunday, championship Sunday. But that's what we got. And I'm really disappointed. I told you, as a football fan, I don't have a dog in the fight. I just want to see good football. We got 2 ass whoopings today, man. Cats got took out bat, shoes, coat, and hat taken from them, man. Not like this. Not with everything that you've worked for all season long on the line. Not like this. Don't get punked like this. Now, at least the teams at home took care of business. Nothing worse than getting your ass whooped in your crib. And that didn't happen this week. Hell, that didn't happen this year for the most part. Home teams took care of business this season for the most part, with the exception of the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Home teams dominated this postseason. So I really don't have much to say on that front. But I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed in the level of quality football we saw today. Just didn't expect 2 straight ass whoopings to take place. And like I said, congratulations first and foremost to both the Atlanta Falcons and their fan base and the New England Patriots and their fan base. Patriots making their NFL best 9th Super Bowl appearance. And a lot of this is Brady and Belichick, the B&B winning factory, as they did it again. Y'all know what those boys do. And they stacked up another win, and they've been stacking them up like bricks for years, and they're going to continue to do so until someone tells Tom Brady he's not good enough to do it anymore. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons just straight disrespected the Green Bay Packers, jumped on those boys in the first half, did not let up in the second half, and I didn't expect them to. The Packers simply looked ill-prepared for what was to come in that football game. We knew they couldn't stop the Falcons' offense. We knew that going into the game, but that was not the question. The question was who was going to have the football last and who was going to score more points. And the Falcons said, I don't know what you thought this was going to be, but we doing all the scoring, man. Not them. And that thing was 24-0 at half. And I once you saw what Matt Ryan, a.k.a. Matty Ice, a.k.a. the MVP of the 2016 NFL regular season, was doing in the first half, he said, come on, man, this isn't going to change in the second half. And I told you that at halftime. It's not going to change. They're going to win this game, and they're going to win it decisively, and they're going to win it going away. And that I did not expect. As a matter of fact, as I told you, I thought the Packers could win. I thought the Steelers could win. Probably more so because I predicted that before the season. So I went with that. But I told you at the end of that program as well, in that very same breath, that I had no confidence in either one of my picks. I thought both of them could be losses, and they turned out to both be wrong. And I didn't have a problem with that. I just wanted to see good football. So not only was I disappointed that my picks weren't correct, which I really didn't give a damn about, I didn't even get competitive football. Look, I was tired, man. I had me a hell of a weekend. One of the best weekends I've had in quite some time. Needless to say, I'm really tired. You know, I've already had a couple people say, hey, man, you look like you need some sleep. Yeah, I do need some sleep, as a matter of fact. I could use about a good 8 hours tonight. These games didn't keep me awake. I mean, I was fighting. I was fighting a good fight. Because these were ass whoopers. By the time the fourth quarter rolled around in both of these games, I'm on the couch looking like, man, can I get a couple minutes of some Z's real quick and maybe get up at the end and catch some commentary from my dad and tell me, you know, what did I miss? You didn't miss nothing. It was the ass whooping when you closed your eyes. It was the ass whooping when you opened them back up. So this was some bad football today, man. Really disappointed. Not disappointed in the outcomes at all. Like I said, don't have a dog in the fight. Disappointed in the way that these games were played and the way that these teams showed up, or lack thereof, in these football games. We'll get to all of that stuff here in a second. But first, if you haven't already done so, you know the routine, you know the drill. Go ahead and subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content. As we're changing the game over here, I want you to be a part of it. Join the Louie Tee Network family, man. Become a member of the family by simply hitting that subscribe button on YouTube. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Did the halftime show. Wasn't as active as I wanted to. I told you already, I was tired. Wanted to be a lot more active on Twitter today. I just didn't have it in me. Didn't have it in the gas tank. So I'm running on fumes right now. But we're going to get this thing done because there are some fan bases right now that are so amped, that are so pumped. And they need to be. They should be, because there's nothing better than the feeling of making it to the Super Bowl. And these next 2 weeks are going to be sheer euphoria for these fan bases and these teams. They're going to kind of soak this all in. And what you have to remember is that this is not promised to anyone but the Patriots. No one else can say, hey, we'll be back next year. The only team that can say that continuously is the Patriots. Everyone else, you don't know if you're going to be back in the playoffs next year. Ask the Carolina Panthers. Ask the Arizona Cardinals. This is not guaranteed to you, so soak this all in. Take it all in. Enjoy this ride. It's a magical one. Whether you get it done or not, enjoy these next 2 weeks of all the coverage your team is going to receive, all of the matchups they're going to talk about, all of the different things, the accolades, all of the good things that are going to be said about your team. Enjoy all of it, because it's not guaranteed to you next year. You can be up 1 minute, down the next. So if you're a fan of either one of these two teams, really more so the Falcons than the Patriots, because the Patriots are going to be back next year. Who's going to stop them? If Brady is healthy, if Belichick is back, they're just going to do it again. Who's going to stop them? Show me. Point to the team that's going to stop these guys. We haven't seen a team stop them in how long? I mean, last year it was the Broncos defense. You have to have an elite something. Maybe it was supposed to be the Raiders and Derek Carr goes down. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Bottom line is, we don't know if the Raiders are going to be good next year. Again, that's how this league is set up. 1 year you're on top, the next you're not. Unless you're the New England Patriots. Unless you're the Green Bay Packers, where in that case you make it every year. Now, Green Bay doesn't make it to the Super Bowl as often as the Patriots do, but they make it to the playoffs and they give themselves a shot. Bottom line is, enjoy the ride is basically what that message was. The overriding theme there, enjoy this ride. So let's jump into these games. We're going to start with the game that started off the afternoon and evening of ass whoopings on this day. The Atlanta Falcons at home, the 2 seed. The Georgia Dome lives for one more night as the Falcons got a home playoff game via the Cowboys' loss a week ago to these same Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers coming into this game red hot as the 4-seeded Packers taking on the 2-seeded Atlanta Falcons. Talked about this in the preview of this game. This is going to be two of the best offenses left in the playoffs. And we knew that both of these offenses could move the football. And that's what you saw early in this game. Falcons took the football, moved it right down the field, got in the end zone. Packers took the football, moved it right down the field. And then the Falcons ratcheted up a little bit of pressure. Deion Jones able to get to Aaron Rodgers, throw him down on the ground a little bit, forced him to have to settle for a field goal. I thought this was a crucial, you don't think about missed field goals and missed point scoring opportunities as big game-changing momentous plays early in a game like this. But I thought the Mason Crosby missed field goal on that first possession set the tone for what was to come in this football game. They get 3 there, settles everything down. You're on the scoreboard. You kick it off. Most likely it's a touchback. Falcons start at the 25, and let's see what happens. They probably move it right down the field and score any damn way. Because when you score on 10 out of your 8 drives, and mind you, that final drive shouldn't even count, but it does because the Falcons weren't looking to score. They were looking to get the game over with. When you score on 8, let's just put it this way. When you score on your first 8 out of 9 drives, there's really no way that you can assume that the other team's going to get a stop. And that's the kind of game. Remember, I was talking that nonsense. I was like, look, if your X team, Packers, Falcons, you fill in the blank, you're going to need to score 6 out of your 9 possessions. You're going to need to score 7 out of your 9 possessions because it's going to be that kind of football game. Well, the Falcons got the memo. Okay, they scored on 8 of their first 9 possessions. Unfortunately, the Green Bay Packers didn't receive that same memo because Aaron Rodgers took them right down the field. They weren't able to score a touchdown, but you got to get something. You got to get something, and Mason Crosby misses. So the Falcons say, oh, you're going to give us some great field position on that miss? Appreciate it. They move it right down the field again. This time they settle for a field goal. Okay, cool. It's 10-0. Find a way to get some points if you're the Packers. Aaron Rodgers takes his team right down the field again. What happens this time? Aaron Ripkowski fumbles the football. Unbelievable. Okay, cool. Falcons say, oh, you going to fumble? All right, cool. We appreciate that. They move it right down the field. Touchdown. Okay. So then the Packers get the football, and you're thinking, all right, they got to have something here. They got to get something here. And they were able to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, whether it was Deion Jones slamming him down or Brian Poole lighting him up on a safety, on a corner blitz, on his blind side, not seeing it. Or you're getting Rashid Hegman to come in there, blow up the center, and get to Aaron Rodgers and sack him, forcing a punt. They were the more physical football team. They came out the aggressors, much like they did against Seattle. I love Dan Quinn because he's instilled a mentality. Look, this is a young defense. I've told you this. You know this. I don't have to tell you this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a young defense. We're watching them come of age right before our very eyes. They've still got some things they have to clean up, and they'll get better as time progresses. But the one thing you don't have to worry about Dan Quinn having to instill in these guys, because this is why they went out and got these very players, is physicality. That's what he's looking for. Athleticism, which they drafted these guys to be athletes. Again, he's trying to build this team as the Seattle Seahawks defense of the South. And he's done a remarkable job, him and GM Thomas Dimitroff, of getting this talented group of players to be fast, physical, and rallying to the football. And these guys are coming in and they're hitting and they're physical and they're aggressive and they're hungry. And you're seeing it out on the football field. And teams don't want any part of that. And they were more physical than the Green Bay Packers in this game. They were physical. They were to the football. And they made plays. You don't make plays in this league without being aggressive and finding the football. And that's what they did in this game. The best example you'll find of that in this game is the Jalen Collins strip of Aaron Ripkowski. Okay? That to me is the quintessential hats to the football type of play. Okay, fine. So Aaron Ripkowski busts off a 15-yard run and he's runs over a Falcon defender and is carrying 3 of them. Okay, those guys all rally to the football. You get Ricardo Allen holding down his arm, his off arm, so he can't put it on top of the football to secure it. So he's only got one hand on the ball and about 3 Falcons draped all over him. And instead of him going down, he's fighting for more yardage. He wants to be a tough guy. You want to be a tough guy? Dig him in. You kidding me or what, man? Okay, so Jalen Collins says, okay, you want to be a tough guy? Let me reach in the cookie jar, see if I can pull a cookie out. Yum, yum, eat them up. Yum, yum, eat them up. Give me those cookies, boy. You don't know what to do with that, man. Let me get that. Rips the football out, then goes and recovers it. I thought it should have been down at the 1 because I thought his momentum took him into the end zone, but okay, fine. They get it at the 20. What did those boys do? March the football right down the field. What did the Packers have in that situation? They had opportunities late in the first half to kill a drive. Aaron Rodgers or Matt Ryan had first of all, another big opportunity. Taylor Gabriel comes across the motion, And I don't know if this was supposed to be a direct snap to him or if he came through a little bit slow and he should have already been past the center. I don't know if the center thought he was already past and he snapped it. Well, I don't know what. But anyway, he touches the football. It's a fumble. Jake Ryan has an opportunity to recover. And this is just want to. The Falcons wanted this game. And I talked about this at halftime. You got a running back on the ground who shouldn't have an opportunity nor the ability to impact this play in Tevin Coleman, who reaches in and yanks the football away from Jake Ryan, allowing Gabriel, who made the boo-boo in the first place, to dive on the football and recover it and save the possession for the Falcons. Those are big plays. Now, it killed that drive, but that's a big play because the Green Bay Packers didn't get the ball 1st and 10 from the Falcons' 34-yard line, which it would have been if they would have recovered it. So you rather punt and make these guys who are struggling do something. And so then you're the Packers. You're like, you need some kind of spark. You need something. You got all these injuries. Kentrell Bryce goes down in the opening kickoff of the game. You know you need him. He played a big part in the Cowboys game last week. You can't afford any injuries in the secondary. You're already hurting in the secondary. Well, he goes down first play of the game. Micah Hyde doesn't make it out of the first half. Okay? They lose Taylor, one of their offensive guards, in the first half. They were dropping like 5. And remember, they came into the game already banged up. So you could ill afford to lose anybody. All three of those guys gone. First half, weren't coming back. And then you put in some guys. Evans is in there. So they finally fluster Matt Ryan. Finally get to him and make him make a mistake. He throws it up for grabs, Hail Mary style, in the end zone. 4 defenders, 1 Falcons receiver. And Evans all he has to do is fair catch the football. He's got it. And he not only mistimes his jump, but he's like 2 yards from where he needs to even start his jump. And mistimes it to make things worse and gives Aldrick Robinson a chance to catch the football. Should have been a pick. Then you get another opportunity in the end zone. You get one more reprieve, one more do-over in the end zone. Matt Ryan trying to force the football to Julio Jones. Julio! Who had a monster day. And Gunter he's got his hand on the football. It's tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then Gunter gets both hands on the football. Can't secure it. Next play, Julio Jones. That man. Touchdown. And to me, that was when the game was over. If they would have held him to a field goal, 20-0, 3-score game, Packers get the football after the halftime break. You get a touchdown there, 20-7. It's a different ballgame. 24-0 at halftime. Now I'm like, you're down 4 scores. 3, if you want to go the whole 2-point conversion, it's not happening. You're not getting 3 touchdowns, 3 2-point conversions. One of those is not going to make it. So, no, you're down 4 scores essentially. You're done. You're dead. And you're not stopping these boys. This game was over at halftime. Falcons dominated these boys. They came out. They wanted this. They said, this is ours. We worked for this. We put ourselves in a position to get home field advantage. Cowboys slipped up. Now it's us. We got the juice now. Cowboys had the juice. Well, guess what? The Packers smoked the Cowboys. So the Falcons by default had the juice. They were Omar Epps. And you got the juice now. Say, okay, well, I got the juice then. Well, I'm about to show these boys what's good. They did these boys. They've been dominant all playoffs long. All playoffs long. Dominated the Seahawks. I knew they were going to dominate the Seahawks. We all knew they were going to dominate the Seahawks. But this one here, didn't see this one coming. I did not see this coming. This was sheer dominance on a whole new level. The rhythm is the bass and the bass is the treble. These boys ran the Packers out of the gym. You should have seen the looks on the Packers players' faces. They were stunned. They didn't know what hit them. They didn't know what hit them. And the Atlanta Falcons are going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl as they dominated the Green Bay Packers 44-21. Just a dominant effort by one of the best teams in the league all season long. They were one of the most consistent teams in the league. Matt Ryan played at the MVP level that he's been playing at all season long. He's had his moments this season, the Kansas City game, the Philadelphia game, where he looked, okay. He looked human. But after that Chiefs game, he has not looked human. He's looked like a superhero. He's looked like Matty Ice. Matty Ice, yeah. Nothing's better than ice. Matty Ice. Put those boys on that block. Froze those boys to death. Left them out in the cold. For dead. 44-21. They'll be representing the NFC. Congratulations to the Falcons again. Arthur Blank and that front office. They did a great job, a hell of a job of assembling a team that could give them an opportunity to get this done. And that's exactly what they are. And the beauty of what, and I don't want to say this for the end of the show. Try to take as many comments as I can. Again, I'm going to try to get out of here. Not trying to stay here too much longer than I have to because, again, I'm tired. But I just want to say this, and we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end. It's going to be a fascinating matchup. I think we got the best matchup possible with the 4 teams that were left. I honestly believe that because the Falcons were the best offense in the league. And they were the best offense in the playoffs. The Patriots, and I told you this during the preview, that the Patriots are probably, and I feel like that after seeing today, I feel that way even more so, that they're the best defense left in the playoffs. Now, again, does that mean that I'm impressed with their defense? No, it doesn't. It just means that they're the best left of the rest. And so you're getting the best offense and the best defense, and then you're getting Tom Brady and Matt Ryan, probably your 2 front runners for the MVP this season. So what more could you ask for? I mean, honestly, what more could you ask for? Speaking of which, let's get to that AFC Championship game, which was another ass whooping. Quickly run through this one. This was so disappointing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It seemed like a team that was ill-prepared. Same thing with the Packers, just a team that seemed ill-prepared. Drop passes, mistakes. You can't win at this level, at this juncture of the season. You can't win making mistakes. Packers made a ton of them. Drop passes, turnovers, missed field goal, dropped interceptions, missed fumble recovery. You can't win like that. Too many mistakes equals an ass whooping on the road against a team that might probably already be better than you. You're asking for an ass whooping. Same deal here. You're on the road. You need to play your best football. One of the Achilles heels of this Steelers football team all season long, the secondary, showed its ass today. And another issue they've been having this season at times, the inability to put the football in the goddamn end zone. That reared its ugly head today in a major way. And we talked about this last week. He said, look, if you don't get in the end zone next week against the Patriots, you will not win the game. We made that abundantly clear last week. You're not playing a Chiefs football team that is allergic and anemic offensively and allergic to scoring points. The Patriots are not afraid to score like the Chiefs are. You must get in the end zone. 18 won't do this week. And what did they do? They scored 19. Let's say, 18 won't do? How about 19? How about no? So, just really disappointing effort by the Steelers. Like I said, drop passes, Kobe Hamilton. I talked about this. I said, some guy, look, they're going to try to take Antonio Brown. I said this. We know the MO of Belichick. We know it. Everyone knows he's going to try to take away what you do best. That's his MO. That's his go-to move. Okay? It's just like Michael Jordan in the fadeaway. You know it's coming. You're probably not going to be able to stop it, but at least you can give it your best effort. Get ready for the shoulder fake, and then over that shoulder, he's going to turn and fade. All you can do is put a hand up and hope he misses. Well, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're going to need guys to step up other than Antonio Brown. I said that. Kobe Hamilton, great opportunity. Catch the goddamn football. Drops the touchdown. What can you do? What can you do? Guys not making plays. What can you do? First possession of the goddamn game. 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Sammy Coates doing what Sammy Coates does. Dropping the goddamn rock. It's what he does. It's his move. He'll run right by the defender and forget the most important thing. The football. He did it in this game twice, but none was bigger than the first one because at that moment, you're down 3-0. You want to make a statement? Catch that football. Make a play. Goes right through his wickets. It's what Sammy Coates does, though. So, they just, again, ill-prepared. Then Le'Veon Bell, L.Bell goes down. And I told you, he had to be a big part of this game because Ben can't do it like he used to. He's no longer capable of putting a team on his back and winning a football game by himself. And you saw him making some mistakes, some errant throws. You saw the pick that he threw at the end of the game when they still had a very minute chance of coming back. It's just one of those situations where you say to yourself, man, the Steelers, for as good as they can be, they got a long way to go still. That secondary is so young. They were horrible tonight. I mean, God damn it. It was funny. Somebody, I want to say it was my man Smoke on Twitter on the halftime show said, can somebody cover Chris Hogan? They call him 7-Eleven for a reason because he's always open. Well, damn, he was open all night long. All night long. All night. Whoa. All night long. All night. Him and goddamn Julian Edelman. Both of them went over 100. You know what the playoffs are about, man. Falcons and the Patriots. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. They went and got the money tonight, man. And both the Packers and the Steelers were broke as hell. No money. None of those boys showed up. Really frustrated. No pressure on Brady for the most part throughout the night. He was able to be surgical. Carve those boys up. No run game for the Steelers, so you're relying on Ben, and I told you don't want to do that anymore. But even when Ben was doing what he had to do, guys didn't help him out. No L.Bell. He goes down with an injury, so that takes away a huge part of your offensive attack. I thought that D'Angelo Williams came in and filled in admirably, but he's no Le'Veon Bell. There's only one Le'Veon Bell in this league. And so that hurt them offensively, but no excuses, man. Their defense was pathetic in this game. Much like the Packers. Pathetic. And they got steamrolled. And even with the Patriots, they weren't at their best. Malcolm Mitchell dropped a pass on the first possession that would have been a first down, had to settle for a field goal. Malcolm Mitchell can't get his first foot in bounds when he's trying to drag the other one, and they had to settle for another field goal. They could have scored 40 in this game. Probably should have scored 40 in this game. Would have scored it easily if Malcolm Mitchell catches either one of those passes. Bottom line is, the Patriots went out and dominated this football game. They made Antonio Brown a non-factor. Le'Veon Bell got injured. They shut down the run, and they forced Ben Roethlisberger to find other guys, Eli Rogers and Kobe Hamilton. Make those bums, Sammy Coates, make those bums beat us. And the answer was no, those bums won't beat us. And they knew that going into the game, and that's why they made sure that those were the guys that had to get it done. That's what the good teams do. That's what Bill Belichick does. That's what Matt Patricia does. That's what the Patriots do. They take away your best stuff. Now, let's get to this Super Bowl matchup because I find it fascinating because what are you going to do? Take away Julio Jones? Huh? You going to take him away? This is what the Falcons have been building towards. A day and age where they can find other guys to pick you apart if you want to take away their best option. So you want to take away Julio Jones. So you're going to do what you did to Antonio Brown. Put Malcolm Butler on him and then make sure the safety's over the top. Cool. That's what you want to do? They'll find Mohamed Sanu. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Guess who? Mohamed Sanu. They will find Gabriel. They will find Aldrick Robinson. They will find Justin Hardy. They will find Austin Hooper. He will find Levine Toilolo. And, oh, by the way, he'll find those running backs out of the backfield. This is the game right here where getting rid of Jamie Collins will become very relevant. You will notice that they're missing an athletic freak at the linebacker position. Hey, I like the kid that you got out of Marshall, the linebacker that made you feel comfortable trading away Jamie Collins. That's cool, man. That's cute. But you're going to find out that Jamie Collins would have been a huge asset to you in this game because this is the game where the running backs out of the backfield, not only as runners, but pass catchers, more importantly, is going to kick your ass. And you're going to wish you never got rid of Jamie Collins. We're going to find out just how good these linebackers are in coverage in this game because those running backs out of the backfield are lethal. You saw it in the game today, how destructive they can be, not only running the football, but catching it out of the backfield as well. And I fully expect a heavy dose and diet of that in the upcoming game because, again, they're going to try to take Julio out of the game. That's fine. You want to take him out of the game? Matt Ryan has made a living this season spreading the football around, spreading the rock around to everyone. So that is a fascinating matchup there. The brilliant mind of Kyle Shanahan, and this will probably be his last game as Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator. His mind against Matt Patricia and the brain trust of the Patriots with Belichick and Patricia. That's going to be a hell of a chess match there. Love to see who's going to get kinged in that one because that is going to be fascinating to watch. The back and forth, the cat and mouse. Normally defense wins in that situation, but I've got an inkling that the Falcons offensively are superior to that of the Patriots defense, but we're going to find out. And then a young Falcons defense that's aggressive, that has been more physical than anybody else's defense all playoffs long, probably with the exception of the Texans. They've been one of the most physical defenses in the playoffs all season, all playoff long. Can they be physical with a Patriots offense that is a finesse offense without Gronk? They're a soft offense. You know, I love Edelman. He's probably the toughest guy they got. But you can hit Tom Brady and make him kind of, think twice about stepping up in the pocket. You can make him be a little errant with the football. They got some tough dudes over there. I'm not calling them soft on the offensive side of football. If I just did, then I need to retract that. Because you guys hang on every word I say, and sometimes I get into this whole thing where I know what I'm trying to say, but maybe I don't say it the way that I'm thinking it in my head, and I say the wrong thing. Like last week, I made a video, and I said the Falcons' offense wasn't explosive. What I meant by that was they can go over the top on you, but a lot of their explosive plays come out of short passing plays that turn into explosive plays. It's not a lot of guys just running straight go routes and deep posts behind corners and safeties. It's what you saw today. Julio Jones catching a slant, running by everybody, stiff-arming a guy, and scoring a touchdown. 60 yards, but it was a 8-yard catch. Taylor Gabriel catching a wide receiver screen or a bubble and getting great blocking and getting a 47-yard touchdown. Like that. How many times has Devontae Freeman caught a choice route over the middle of the field? Just a simple stick route where he sticks his foot in the ground, runs a little slant out of the backfield, just an arrow route. Catches it, beats the linebacker, and gets up the field and makes a big 37-yard catch down to the opposing team's 14-yard line. How many times have we seen that? We saw it against Seattle where he catches it and splits a seam. That's all I was trying to say is that a lot of their passes that are explosive plays are short plays that turn into big plays because they're a big play offense that generates it off of shorter plays. And that's what good teams do. They can beat you in a variety of ways. And with this Patriots offense, they're not as dynamic. They don't scare you, but they got Tom Brady. And if you don't get to Brady, as we saw tonight, he will carve you up. And that's what he did tonight. And so that's going to be a fascinating matchup. Patriots and Falcons, Super Bowl 51. That is going to be awesome. That's going to be some awesome football. I think we got the best possible matchup of the 4 remaining teams that we had left. I honestly believe that we got the best matchup that we could have gotten. The Falcons right now are as hot in offense as you will find over the last 5 to 7 years in the league. This offense is red hot. It's up there with those Broncos offenses that we saw when Peyton Manning broke all those records in 2013. It's right up there with that offense. They're that dynamic offensively, are the Falcons. And the Patriots are the Patriots. Like, nothing that they do scares you, but yet they're in the Super Bowl again. And it's off the strength of the B&B winning factory. This is what they do, man. Love it, hate it, love them, hate them. Call them what you want. Cheatriots, all that crap y'all call them. These boys win. They stack them up like bricks. They're going to their, listen to what I'm saying to you, man. They're going to their 9th Super Bowl. Most in the NFL's history. 9. Brady's got a chance to win his 5th. That will be the most of any quarterback in NFL history. More than Bradshaw. more than Montana. Then there's no question as to who the greatest of all time is. We know who the GOAT is. I already feel like it's Brady already. But you're telling me, because when it's all said and done, Montana had Rice and Taylor. Bradshaw had Stallworth. He had Lynn Swann. I just named 3 Hall of Fame wide receivers. Who did Tom Brady play with that was a Hall of Fame wide receiver? I forgot. Can you remind me? Like, what are we talking about here? Seriously. This man has a chance to win his 5th Super Bowl. Unreal. Unreal. Brady is going to his 7th Super Bowl. Think about that. His 7th Super Bowl. Think about that for a second. I mean, seriously, ponder that a little bit. There are NFL franchises that haven't been to one. There are whole divisions as a collective group. Put all 4 teams' Super Bowl appearances together. They don't have 7. And Brady and Belichick are about to go to their 7th Super Bowl. Think about that for a second. Let that shit soak in. Let it soak in. This is dominance at a level we've never seen in this league. That's how good those boys have been. You say what you want, you call it what you want. Those boys up in Foxborough, the B&B winning factory, have done it better than anybody else over the last 2 decades. Not up for discussion. End of sentence. Let's get to some of your comments. Like I said, I'm not going to get to all of them. I know you guys are out there watching and commenting like crazy. And so I'm going to try to get to as many of these comments as possible because I know that you guys are excited, especially the Falcons fans, as you should be. So I want to get to as many comments as I possibly can. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know I'm not going to get to all of them. So let's jump to some of these comments and see what you guys are talking about. Bossaholic says, that man Aaron Rodgers tried to break into our house, but this mother effing hood, this is the effing hood. He says, we pulled that shorty out and killed his ass. We didn't even take him out back, too. Yeah, that was, and Rodgers didn't even play bad. Like, I felt bad for him because he did all he could. He didn't get a lot of help, but yeah, you guys put him down quick, nice and easy. It was painless. He thought he was coming in through the window, and y'all were right there waiting for him with the shotty. As soon as he opened up the window and put one foot in, he looked up. That pump action put that man down. Put a bunch of holes in him. And those boys never stood a chance in this game. Bossaholic also says, those Packers fans were yelling out Aaron like it was his boys in the hood. I actually saw a clip, and some of you guys have seen it too. I saw it on social media of a Falcons fan running by and knocking the cheese head off of one of the Packers fans' head as she was leaving the stadium. Come on, what are you guys doing? See, that's that ignorance right there, man. Come on, win with class, man. Don't show your ass, win with class, okay? Let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a couple of ignorant-ass statements from Falcons fans. But you know what? I'm not even going to be mad because when you win and you get excited, you say some things that you might not even really mean, but you're just in the moment. So I'm gonna let some of these comments go because just like that lady who was ignorant as hell knocking the cheesehead off, look, you already won the game, man. Do you really need to add insult to injury by knocking the cheesehead? As she's leaving. She's already seen her team go down in a bitter defeat. She's leaving the stadium. She was bold enough to show up and cheer on her Packers in an enemy environment. She's leaving. She's disappointed. She's distraught. And a Falcons fan comes by and knocks her cheesehead off her head. Really, guys? Come on, man. Stop your nonsense. Stop being ignorant. Blackbird Blitz. The dome goes out with a bang. Now AR-12 rides that MR2 thing. Kirk Cousins isn't better than MR2. Dak isn't better than MR2. Carr isn't better than MR2. MR2 is elite. Deal with it. Did anybody ever say he wasn't elite? Coming into the season, there were questions, obviously. Hell, Falcons fans even had questions. I know a lot of Falcons fans that were like, hey, man, is Matt Ryan still Matt Ryan? Is he Matty Ice? I told you before the season he wasn't Matty Ice. He had to earn that nickname back. Well, he did. And then some. He's the MVP of the league. I'm convinced. I've told you this for the last 2 months strong, that he's the MVP of the league. I'm convinced of it. I was convinced of it then. I'm convinced of it now, even more so. Even though the playoffs have nothing to do with the decision of an MVP, Matt Ryan has been the most consistent quarterback all season long. He deserves to be the MVP. So that statement that you just made, all of it rings true. But except for the Aaron Rodgers thing. But bottom line is it doesn't matter. The better team won. This wasn't about Matt Ryan versus Aaron Rodgers. Even though I sat here and I told you Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, and he still is a bad man. He didn't have any help. That defense was horrible all season long, and they showed their ass today. They were horrible. But they had so many injuries, there's no excuses. The Falcons went out and carved their ass up. Thought that the Packers would do the same to the Falcons defense, and they didn't. They made plays, did the Falcons defense. The Packers defense did not. That was the difference in the game. We knew the offenses were both good. It was which defense would make some plays, would stand up and say, hey, not on my watch. It was the Falcons defense. Blackbird Blitz says, I'm dropping them bars if we get that ring. LOL, life is good right now. Yeah, it is. It's got to be good right now. When your team takes care of business like the Falcons did in this game in the fashion that they did, yeah, life is real good. Bossaholic says, how awkward would it be if we found out that Rodgers won the MVP, LOL? That would piss me off. It really would. Because even though Aaron Rodgers had a good season, it wasn't better than Matt Ryan. Statistically, it wasn't better. Record-wise, it wasn't better. The consistency throughout the entire season was not better. I would be really upset. And again, a lot of times I don't get upset about things that have nothing to do with my team, but I would be upset because Matt Ryan not only earned this, he deserves the MVP. He played the best of any of these quarterbacks this season. Bossaholic says, maybe if Aaron Rodgers had Allstate instead of State Farm, he would have been protected from all that mayhem. Like, he would have been protected from that mayhem, man. Maybe. Well, I'm going to tell you what, his house was on fire today. He needed to call the goddamn fire department. And he needed to call them. It was his stuff. But obviously, he didn't have Allstate, man. So he was not protected from the mayhem that was that Falcons defense, nor that Falcons offense for that matter. You a damn fool. Bossaholic also says, LOL, Lou, I'm tripping. Real talk. Being a few yards from the Super Bowl and then collapse. Everyone doubted us and we still will. That's why we need this win. And you sound like my sister. My sister was going absolutely nuts to the point where I wanted to strangle her today. I mean, she was nonstop from the time the football was kicked off until maybe halftime of the Patriots game. She would not shut up. She was excited. She was screaming. She's like, they don't respect us. Just playing the whole underdog card. And I'm like, man, this is great. I loved it. I soaked it all up with her. She was really, I'm excited for her because, again, as a fan, I can definitely sympathize and really empathize with my sister. I've never really experienced, the last time the Redskins went to Super Bowl, I was like 5, and I was excited then, but as an adult, you really get to soak it all in. You know what's going on. Like, I'm really excited for my sister. Like, I want to feel what she felt today. I want to feel that way one day. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but it was fun to watch her just parade around the house and scream. And the funniest thing she did was she reminded me, I said this, and I couldn't think of the name in the commercial, but she could when I brought it to her attention. She kept yelling, "We won!" And it reminded me of that commercial with the guy that's a Texans fan, and he's got his baby, and the Texans make the game-winning field goal, and he gives his wife the baby, goes into his car. I think it was like a Hyundai commercial or whatever. And he goes into the car, and he gets excited. Ah! he starts going off and honking his horn, and his neighbor comes outside, Barbara. He says, Barbara, we won! And he's going, I never doubted. And like my sister, she doubted for a little while because, you know, she was afraid of the big bad man, Aaron Rodgers. And she was like, I never doubted. She's like, Lou, hug, we won! And it was funny, man. I had a good time with her, man. She was really ecstatic, and she should have been ecstatic. This was a big win for this franchise. And unlike the last time they went to the Super Bowl, they have a realistic shot of winning this one. They had no chance in hell of beating the Broncos in 1990. What was that? 99. It was a 98 season. Super Bowl was played in 99. They had no chance of beating that Broncos team led by John Elway and company. That was supposed to be Vikings and Broncos, one of the best Super Bowls in NFL history, and that got stripped and torn from us because of Gary goddamn Anderson. That takes me down a dark road that and headspace I don't want to go down. But you got a shot this time. So if you're a Falcons fan, you should be absolutely ecstatic with your opportunity that's in front of you. Eagle Speed says, in a couple of weeks, football is gone, sadly. My dad brought that to my attention today. I really didn't give that much thought. I think I thought about it more about a month ago as the regular season was coming to a close. I'm like, damn, football's about to be done. But until he said something, it really didn't hit me. And then I thought about it. I said, wow, it's about to be. Now, that NBA game was really good last night. But who's really ready for the NBA to be all you got? Like on a Sunday afternoon, 3:30, you're watching Magic and Warriors. Is that going to get you excited? Hell no. So, yeah, in a couple of weeks, you're going to be talking draft, and that's all you're going to have. That's all you're going to have. And that is a really sad existence, for sure. Andrew Kim says, I was rooting for the Falcons Pat Super Bowl. I think this is the Falcons year. I think you might be right. I think as of right now, I'm letting you know I'm leaning towards picking the Falcons in that game. I just really like what they're doing offensively. But I'll sit down and I'll assess everything, you know, see the damage, make sure guys are healthy, figure out what's going on, and then I'll make a decision as we get closer to the Super Bowl. Brian Emerson says, the NFL needs to give us 2 more games, not including the Pro Bowl or the Super Bowl, for these 2 damn blowout championship games. I was so disappointed with the level of play from the teams that lost in these games, I should say. Just really disappointed because I thought we had 2 gems on our hands. I really did. I thought both of these games are going to be tight, close, competitive ball games into the fourth quarter, edge of your seat, nail biters, like we got last Sunday, and it was quite contrary. The direct opposite of what I was expecting. 2 straight, pure, unadulterated ass whoopings handed out by the home teams. Really, really disappointing. Disco Jump Rope says, so hyped, Louie. I've waited decades for this. You should be hyped. You should be, because when you're a fan, you put so much emotion into it. Like, if you're not a fan, you can never understand the plight of a fan. Like, we live, sleep, eat, breathe these teams. You know, sometimes we make too much of this. It's entertainment. It's a sport. We put too much stock into these things, but we can't help it. We're humans, and we care too much, probably to a fault, about sports. They're a reprieve from reality. For 3 hours, you get to say, to hell with everything. I'm investing all of my emotions into this team. And whether they win or they lose, you're going to give it all you got. Just like those players are doing on the field, you're going to do the same thing emotionally for your team. And so when they finally come through for you, it is an euphoria like no other experience. So I know Falcons fans, like I said, the sheer joy on my sister's face, priceless. The way she was parading around the house, yelling at the top of her lungs, priceless. You can't pay for that. You can't pay for that. That's real, raw emotions that can only be had by a real fan that has suffered from past losses, that can now say, look what we've done. I've went through all of this to get to this point. And that's why the journey is always much greater than the final end result. Because the journey is all of the hardships, all of the things you have to overcome to get to this point. That's what makes looking back on that the best part of everything. So as a fan, that's why I said these 2 weeks, the actual game, the Super Bowl, it'll be great if you win. But all of that pales in comparison to these 2 weeks, because these 2 weeks give you a chance to reflect on your fandom. You get to look back, and let's say you were a Falcons fan since 1996, and you get to look back and say, man, I remember this game or that game, or the game we only scored 2 points in the play. Remember that game against the Giants? You only scored 2 goddamn points in the playoffs. There's so many the heartbreaking loss to the Cardinals in the playoffs. There's so many losses. I mean, the 2012 loss to the 49ers. You can look back on all these. The loss in the Super Bowl. You can look back at all these losses and say, man, we got a chance. Look at all of this stuff, all the hardship, all the things that we went through. And now look where we at. It's the beauty of being a fan, man. A loyal one. You get moments like these. This is what you live for as a fan. Newscaster News 4 says, this Super Bowl better be epic to make up for all these playoff blowouts. LOL. I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, I thought we had turned the corner last Sunday in the divisional round with the Cowboys and the Packers game and then the Chiefs and the Steelers game. I thought we had turned the corner. I was really looking forward to the NFL playoffs ending with a bang. Those 2 games on that Sunday, the next 2 games on the next Sunday, all being competitive nail-biters leading into the Super Bowl, which was going to be another great game. And I was going to say, wow, for a playoff that started out as a dud, wow, we got some great competitive football to finish up. The last 5 games were outstanding, extraordinary. Nope, went right back to the ass-whooping fest that we had to start the playoffs. So really disappointing. I need this Super Bowl, like you said, to be epic. We're going to see, though. Brian Emerson says 10 playoff games, 8 blowouts. Spot on. Basically, I don't know if I'll call the Texans-Raiders game a blowout, but it wasn't competitive. We knew who the winner was going to be in the fourth quarter, so I'd have to agree with you. Darius Rain says, I'm tired of being afraid of all these teams out here. The Falcons are heavyweights that no one talks about. We deserve this. Hey, I've been hearing the disrespect of late. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I disrespected this team last week. Not necessarily from the standpoint of saying that they weren't good enough. I just thought that Aaron Rodgers would be able to carve those guys up. I didn't give the defense enough. I gave the offense plenty of respect. I knew what this offense was capable of. It was the defense that I was worried about, and those boys showed up. They played ball. Jalen Collins is balling right now. He's playing some good football. Deion Jones has been outstanding all season long. Brian Poole continues to impress as an undrafted rookie free agent. Keanu Neal continues to drop the hammer. These boys are playing football despite missing arguably your best player on defense. These boys are out there playing football. Ricardo Allen is playing at a high level. You're getting it done, man. You're getting it done. And so I'm part of the disrespect. I've told you, when I'm wrong, I will not run away from being wrong. Because when I'm right, I'm going to be the first one to tell you I'm right. So when I'm wrong, I'm also going to step up and tell you, yeah, I was wrong. And I was wrong. And so there has been some disrespect to the Falcons. But that disrespect is going to disappear. And they're going to be respected over the next 2 weeks. And we're going to see if they're able to build on all the things they've done this season and do it one more time and hoist the Lombardi for the first time in franchise history. My man B.E. says, I'm so far 8-2 in the playoffs with my predictions. I was horrible this playoffs. I think I am 6-4 this playoffs. I lost both of these games. I had lost 2 previous to that leading up to this championship weekend. So I didn't do very well. If this were my pool that I'm coming up with, I would have lost in the playoffs and I would have been sick to my stomach. Andrew Kim says, interesting that this year both teams are known for offense usually, but previous years it was defense showing up. And, you know, I've actually heard the Patriots defensive stats. I just hate to really give them the credit that maybe they deserve because they didn't play anybody this year. Their schedule was so pathetic. That's why they went 14-2 in the regular season. Their schedule was a joke. Their schedule was an absolute, you still got to go out and win. But they played the Browns. Their division stinks every year. The Jets were one of the worst teams in the league. They got to play them twice. I mean, you look at the teams that they played. They played the Texans. They stunk at the quarterback position. I told you they played the Browns. They played the 49ers. They stink. They played the Rams. That division was horrid this season. I mean, they had some laughers this season in terms of scheduling. So I was hesitant to give them any credit defensively, but maybe they're better on defense than I'm giving them credit for. We'll see. Rarely even says, sorry, I'm late. Lou just got down puking after one team I despise and another I dislike made the Super Bowl. It's all good, man. I know you're a Bucs fan, so you're probably going to be rooting for the Patriots, which you probably never, ever do. You'll probably find yourself doing that this time around, so that should be rather interesting there. BE says, I heard the Falcons and Patriots are both charged with 53 counts of first-degree murder. Any info to where the Patriots and Falcons are, please call 1-800-SUPER-BOWL-50. If you have any information on the whereabouts of either the Patriots or the Falcons, please contact my man BE at 1-800-SUPER-BOWL-51. That's 1-800-SUPER-BOWL-51. Let's bring these two teams to justice. No one deserves to be murdered the way that the Falcons and the Patriots committed first-degree murder today. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 1000 says, Aaron single-handedly bringing the Packers to the NFC Championship game. That is crazy. You will never see that from the next QB. I agree. I thought he put the team on his back. Their defense was bad, had been bad all season long, and they were really bad in the playoffs. Okay? And Aaron Rodgers just simply was magnificent, and he just ran out of juice today. And give the Falcons defense some credit. I mean, they made plays. I'm just so over both defenses of the losing teams in these two games. Both of them did not show up. BE says, this year's NFC Championship game reminds me of last year's game. Yeah, it did. Just an ass whooping from start to finish. And game was over at halftime, just like it was last year. Really disappointing. Yep. I think that's a good comparison. Bossaholic says, Falcons can build a dynasty. You know what's going to really upset the fabric of what they're doing is Kyle Shanahan leaving. I'll be interested to see who gets the job offensively. I heard that Chip Kelly may be coming in. That would suck. So I can't even get on that train right now because you don't know who's going to be your offensive coordinator next year. You don't know who's going to be calling plays and what they're going to come in and try to do. This system was tailor-made for this football team. And now you're going to have to find another guy to call offensive plays and maybe even implement a whole new scheme, which, again, would be catastrophic to the success and the continuity of what the Falcons were building on the offensive side of the football. Black Al Bundy says, what it do, playboys and playerettes? I told everyone Green Bay was a facade. ATL got this Super Bowl in the bag. I don't see no one stopping Julio. You might be right. And you did tell everybody that Green Bay was a facade. And I didn't disagree with that. I just knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't a fake. He wasn't putting up a mask. He was serious. It was the rest of the squad that was a joke. And so we found that out today, unfortunately. In the biggest game of their season, they did not show up. Rarely even says 2 years in a row, Lou, an NFC South team is in the Super Bowl. How about that? That means those boys are balling in that division. That's what that means. That's a scary division right now. And you got to be a good division to send two teams 2 years in a row. Two different teams, not the same team. Patriots do that, seems like every other year they're in the Super Bowl. That doesn't count. Two different teams making a Super Bowl back-to-back years. Try that. That's tough to do. That's what the NFC East used to do in the 90s. Send team after team after team. Late 80s, early 90s, NFC East dominated football. Now you're starting to see maybe a little bit of a change here with the NFC South starting to do some damage. We're going to see if they can keep it up. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 10 says, I'm glad the Steelers lost. He says, can't wait to see Stephen A. Smith's face tomorrow that both of his teams took an L. Again, like I told you, I'm not into that, but that's great. For all you guys that watch that, that should be fun for you tomorrow. The Black Al Bundy says, like B. Emerson said, why is the NFC chip always a blowout? Look, normally in the NFC, similar to the AFC, you normally got a dominant team. And this is when the cream rises to the top. Keep rising to the top. The cream always rises to the top. And sometimes you get teams in there that, whether it be for one reason or another, they're not who we thought they were. And last year was probably more of a surprise with the Arizona Carolina game. I wasn't surprised that the Packers defense didn't show up in this game. I was surprised that the offense made as many mistakes that they made. Because we assumed that the offense would be good and it'd be a shootout. We knew the Packers defense was shoddy and was going to get carved. What we expected, though, was for the Packers to do the same to the Falcons defense and make this a shootout. And we didn't get that. So that was the surprise. Last year, we thought the Cardinals defensively were good, and we thought they were offensively good. So we expected them to be in that game. So that was a bigger surprise than today's outcome. I told you, if the Packers made mistakes, if the Falcons forced turnovers, got stops, which they did in this game, they had a chance to dominate because we knew they were going to eat that Packers defense alive, and that they did. DG Production says, Lou, come on. I told you. Why didn't you listen? I warned you. I tried to tell you, but hey, you a big boy. You make your own choices. All I'm going to say is Matty Ice MVP, Neil laid the steal. Say, Julio! Look, I can't deny anything you just said. You've been telling me all season long, and I've been listening, okay? Look, I heard you all season long, but I wasn't listening. You know how? It's a difference. You can hear something, but you're not listening. I wasn't listening earlier. I didn't start listening till right around the end of the season. After that Chiefs loss, I was like, man, maybe the Falcons aren't who I thought they were. They're letting the Bucks back in this thing, and they're going to try to steal it. I knew the Bucks weren't ready. I knew that. But I said, they're letting teams back in this divisional race, and, now they got to sweat it out. But as the end of the season came and they started to rev the engines back up, I said, nah, man, these boys are serious. And then the thing that really started to win me over was the defense was getting better. I could see the young boys growing before my very eyes. But I just thought that Aaron Rodgers was red hot and they'd be able to do enough. Remember, these two teams met in the regular season and it was a shootout. I was expecting much of the same. But what we got was a much better Falcons defense. Remember, when those two teams met the first time, this defense was nowhere near where they are now. Guys have grown and come of age in this season. You're getting good play out of some guys that maybe you expected, maybe you didn't. And so now all of a sudden, this Falcons defense playing a lot more confidently. And I told you, that's one of the biggest things is confidence. It's something you can't measure. They're starting to play with that confidence, and all of a sudden now, Matt Ryan just playing outstanding football, which, like I said, he's been doing much of the season anyway. Really impressive victory there. Eagle Speed says, the one time you pick the Packers, they lose, LOL. I actually want to take this time right now to apologize to any Packers fans out there that's watching live or will watch this on playback. Charge this loss on my account, man. Go ahead and debit this one on my account. I hadn't picked them all postseason. I didn't pick them against the Giants. I didn't pick them against the Cowboys, and they took care of business. I said that you're probably going to lose this game because I'm picking you. I actually said that in the preview predictions video, and I had a feeling that this was going to come to fruition because that's generally how it goes down. And I picked them, and they didn't show up, and I apologize for that. And you can blame me. You want to put the blame, dump it on me, I will take it. All of that burden, put it on my shoulders. I apologize, Packers fans out there. Put this one on me. I picked the Packers to win. I should have picked against the Packers if I was looking for the opposite result, and I didn't do that. And so maybe deep down, subconsciously, I wanted the Falcons to win, and that's why I picked the Packers. Maybe. But in any event, I apologize. I sincerely do. RG3 hashtag smoking at 3 hashtag 1000 says, man, we all know who the realest MVP is. Wow, I just expect Rodgers to put the team on his back. He can't do it by himself. Literally, there was zero help. Guys dropping passes, plays not being made. Aaron Ripkowski fumbles. Again, these are good plays made by the Falcons defense. Give them credit, first and foremost. But the guys just didn't make plays. The defense had opportunities to force some turnovers. They didn't. They couldn't get off the field on third downs. It was a train wreck, man. It was a train wreck. Rarely even says it might not be so bad if the Falcons win the Super Bowl this year, Lou. Hashtag Super Bowl hangover. Them bad Bucks. Maybe if they win the Super Bowl, they'll have an abundance of confidence, and you won't be able to stop them either. So we'll see how that goes. Normally, the Super Bowl hangover comes from the team that loses the Super Bowl, not the one that wins it. The only reason the Broncos fell apart was because of the quarterback situation. But that defense was still good enough to make the postseason. So I wouldn't bet on that if I were you. I would think that if they won the Super Bowl, they would be playing with an abundance of confidence. Obviously, the offensive coordinator position is going to change the dynamic of the team coming back next year. But if they win the Super Bowl, they're going to be on cloud nine, and they're going to have a huge amount of confidence that you can't take away from them because they've won the Super Bowl. They feel like, okay, we know what it takes to win now. Now we just got to duplicate it. Easier said than done, but they'll have the confidence to go out and do it. Which if they don't win the Super Bowl, they'll know what it feels like to get there, but they don't know what it feels like to win it. Then they'll start doubting themselves when some hard adversity comes their way. Question is, can they win the Super Bowl? We're going to see. All right. I'm going to take a few more of these comments, and then I got to get out of here. Let's see. It's almost 11, so we're going to get out of here. Reese says, looks like I'm in it for the commercials this year, Lou. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that, Reed. Don't do us like that. Newscaster News 4 says, did you see Robert Offers flop in the fourth quarter? LMAO. I mean, you get flops all the time, man. Yeah, I did check that out. You get those all the time, though, man. Cats be doing some extra, man. Cats be doing the most, man. And so that's funny to me sometimes. The Falcons, this is from my man Reed says, with a burning passion. He says, hate the Falcons with a burning passion, but I'm happy for you guys. Okay. Look at that. Look at that divisional love right there, man. Only a Super Bowl appearance can pull that out. DG Production says, Dan is the guy that will take us to the promised land year after year. Yeah, we will have down years, but he is the guy. I'm going to miss Kyle, but Dan sets the tone. I agree with that, but you still need that offense. Still need that offense to be what it is. And they're going to be missing a huge cog in that machine offensively if you take Kyle Shanahan, which we all assume he's going to take that San Francisco job. So, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. Dan Quinn sets the tone for that football team. It's his emotional leadership. It's his energy that is really infectious. It's his mindset and mentality that he brought from Seattle that has really changed the culture of this Atlanta Falcons, not only football team, but this defense more specifically. Rarely even said, did you see some of the hits Rodgers was taking, Lou? Said, damn, a few times. Yeah, I talked about it at halftime, and I talked about it earlier. They were physical. They've been the most physical defense, like I said, maybe with the exception of the Texans when they were in the playoffs. This Falcons defense has been physical. They've been physical all postseason. And you saw Aaron Rodgers, that hit Brian Poole put on him. My goodness. Larry G's the best says, Rodgers is a god. He gets all the respect until the day he brings his team this far. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a beast. I don't feel any less about him. They don't have enough around him right now. So goes that situation. DG Production says, hey man, I told you we wanted AR-12. Got to beat the best to be the best. Now I want the best, in quotations, quarterback and coach in the Super Bowl game, and don't get no better than that. You're right. If you can beat Brady and Belichick in the biggest game, there will be absolutely no doubt as to who was the best team this season in the Atlanta Falcons. So we will see if they can get that done or not. Larry G's the best says, all the elite wide receivers kill the Packers in every playoff game they played in because they're not good in the secondary. They're not good defensively, so that's not a surprise. DG Production says, they couldn't hold Julio, trip him, push him, no stopping that man, ran through tackles, mushed that little man on the way into the end zone. That was Julio at his best, man. Like, you want to know why I call Julio like that? Because of plays like that, man. Smoke the defender. Get your little ass off me, man. Dude, try to tackle him out. Get off my ankles, man. You a little boy, man. Get off me. Get your ass off me. Stiff arm another dude. Smushed him right in his face. That's so disrespectful. Don't smush me in my face, man. Man, you get into fights. Man, somebody smush you in your face. That's a fight. Automatic. Off the buck. That's a fight. Julio smushed that, man. Get out my face, man. Stop playing. Disrespectful. I love it. All right, man. That's going to do it for me, man. I'm going to get out of here now. That's the perfect place to stop right there. Big win by both teams. It's going to be a hell of a Super Bowl. I think we got it right. I think we got the two best teams in their respective conferences in this game that was left. And so Falcons, Patriots, 2 seed in the NFC versus the 1 seed in the AFC should make for some entertaining football. But then again, that's what we thought we were getting in the championship Sunday, and neither one of these games was competitive. So don't want to jump to any conclusions nor make any assumptions, but I feel good about what we got coming to us in 2 Sundays from now. Falcons and Patriots. Falcons destroy and dominate the Green Bay Packers 44-21. Patriots do the same in the nightcap to the Steelers 36-19. Both of these teams are going. Oh, was it 36-19? Is that what the final score ended up? Let me see. I want to make sure. 36-17. I'm about to say it wasn't 14-point lead. It's 36-17. Patriots destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie Tee Network. Remember, we're changing the game one live feed at a time. Subscribe to the Louie Tee Network. Follow me on Twitter at @InTheLabRoom. And also like the Facebook page. All of my social media platforms right down below. Hopefully you enjoyed those games. You probably didn't. If you were a fan of one of those two teams, then you did. If you're a football fanatic and junkie like myself, you're really disappointed. But at the end of the day, I think we got the right matchup. And that's probably all that really matters, is that the Super Bowl is good. We've had some great Super Bowls over the last decade. Just about all of them have been really good competitive football games. I think this is going to fall in line with what we've seen over the past decade or so. So with that being said, we know the teams, we know the participants, we now know the matchup. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to get away from the Super Bowl for a week. The following week, the week of, we're going to have exclusive coverage of the Super Bowl. I'm going to break it down from the Falcons standpoint, the Patriots standpoint. We're going to look at this game, look at some individual matchups. We're really going to dive into this thing big time. Have some fun with this matchup leading up to Super Bowl 51. But until then, I'm your man, Louie Tee, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your night. Have a good one. God bless and good night as always. I'll see you later on down the line. Have a good one.